Oh, this old thing? Hello, everybody in the vinyl community. This is Rich at Embarrassment of Riches, and I'd like to share with you my August vinyl finds. It was a pretty good month, all told. There was one especially awaited pre order that I've been anticipating for a long time that I believe is one of my favorite albums of the year. I've been listening to it non-stop since it arrived. And there was a couple trips to the local record store and one trip to the local Goodwill. And I'd like to begin with that aforementioned record that I believe is one of my favorite of the year so far. And it happens almost every time that this artist releases a record. And you are all certainly entitled to your own opinion about Rick Rubin and his methods of producing music. But I believe he's only gotten the best from every artist that he's worked with, starting with the Beastie Boys and Run DMC, going through to Slayer, Johnny Cash, the Avett Brothers, Tyler Childers, The Cult. This guy's produced legendary records. Indisputably dope. And I think by now everybody knows that I can work Def Jam into almost every single conversation here. And that includes finally buying a very clean copy of the Cactus album from the great Third Base. Yeah, this album got a lot of play in 1989. It was the peak of powers for Prime Minister Pete Nice and MC Serch with incredible production by the legendary Sam Sever. And Step Into the AM and the Gas Face were the joints back then. Although whoever advised these guys to say anything bad about the Beastie Boys on that song Sons of Third Base on here, man, that was ill-advised. Like, no. Don't do that. That's just silly. Yeah, the one I had before this is pretty toe up. It's really busted and it doesn't sound good to play, so this is a very nice upgrade that will be getting played. And this next one is one that I have not heard before, although I know the band quite well because I loved their debut album that I had shown on a previous video that I got the repress of last year. This is Static and Silence from the Sundays, one of my favorite British bands of that period. But after the first record, I didn't really see anything out here in the States, and it wasn't one of the imports that I sought out. So there's a lot of their catalog that I haven't heard yet that I'm really looking forward to. This one's next. I mean, Harriet Wheeler had such a great voice. I don't know if she's still singing. I'm going to go find out. Oh boy, this next one here was a long time coming as well. Just another case of me taking forever for the market to come down to my price, because it's been a very expensive record, expensive to me at least, for a number of years. And although this is the US version, like the Grail would still be the Silvertone UK version, but Stone Roses' debut album, one of my all-time favorite groups, and probably rightly considered one of the greatest records of all time and the greatest debut records of all time. Everything came together for this band, and they were still producing insanely sick B-sides along with all of this stuff. So yeah, this is the US version, and it did come with the original in her sleeve, which is always a bonus, and it is in great condition. So like this one might not get played because I do have the 2LP on yellow wax that was released about 15 years ago, and that sounds brilliant. Like, that is really good. 2LP at 45 RPM. But this one is still a nostalgic pick that I'm definitely going to keep. I might even display it pretty soon, throw it up there on the shelf, just because I like to look at that cover. And there's a whole lot of nostalgia with this band and this album. I still listen to the music from this and all the other stuff too. I can actually still remember the first time that I heard the Stone Roses. There's not a lot of bands that I can think of that, but I remember sitting there and hearing them for the first time, and it hit me like a brick. Ah, I love this stuff. And next up is a favorite, but it's not an original pressing. I've kind of had to come to grips with the fact that I'm likely never going to own that original pressing, or at least what I consider to be the most desirable pressing, which is the one that came with the Third Man Records vault many, many years ago, and goes for quite a lot of money. But this was reasonably priced, and it's Pearl Jam MTV Unplugged, which was just a simply brilliant show. They sounded so good. I really miss seeing that. There were so many good bands on there. I have the Alice in Chains one around here somewhere. And really, my only complaint about this one is the show is just too short. There's only 7 songs on this one, and I'm not entirely sure if there's a more complete version in that Third Man Records vault version. I might have to check that out again, but last I looked, that thing was going for like $200 whenever it showed up. So my hopes aren't incredibly high of achieving that one, but yeah, Pearl Jam Unplugged. This shit is brilliant. Such a great show. Damn. This next one is from a group that I am not entirely familiar with. I only know one song, or I know of one song that I've heard before. And that was pretty cool, but it just didn't make me go out and start seeking the entire discography. You know how we record people can be sometimes, and just we go out and try to find every single thing. This might lead to that because this is the first time I bought an entire record from Jonathan Richman and the Modern Lovers. This is from 1976. This is from 1976 and is supposed to be full of just really, really catchy power pop songs. Proto-punk? I'm not sure, but I'm interested. And it's got the remainder cut out. I don't mind that so much. The vinyl is in great, great shape. And it does have the original super bright yellow inner sleeve, which is pretty cool. And it is on that Berserkly label you can see right there. Hopefully. And after years of not really caring about going to the local record stores for anything but record store day, this local has really stepped up their game. I did pick up this Jonathan Richman and a couple others from there that'll be in next month's video or in a couple of weeks, the way things are going right now. Although the other one that's close, I wouldn't say it's local, it's about half hour away into Maryland. They sell weed at their store. They got pre-rolls. So like that's pretty cool. And as I am wont to do every single month, I have my record from the Interscope Vinyl Collective. Very happy with this one. I have not heard this before. I remember when this band came out and this record first came out, and it just skipped me. You know, wow, this printing.
3 days later.
Yeah, the ink on this is aromatic. Anyway, Wolfmother, the debut record. I don't know how well this is going to show. There is so much light in this room, but man, it is beautifully done. There's a lot of spot gloss, and there's foil on the logo, and obviously a Frazetta painting, you know, to be had. I just listened to this band the first time today. I haven't cracked this record open yet to put on the turntable, but I did listen to some of the MP3s, and it's an enjoyable record. Yeah. That's kind of cool. That's what I like. I like a curated selection. You know, it's something that you might enjoy. Here, have it. It's kind of like what Vinyl Me Please used to offer when they weren't crooks.
Allegedly.
They're trying to make it come back. That's a whole other video. What a fucking mess. Sorry, I got sidetracked there. It must be the ink on the printing of this. Holy crap, that is like sniffing a Sharpie. And this Wolfmother record is pressed on very nice dark green vinyl. And the foil and the wonderful colors continues along the inside of the gatefold. I don't know how much is coming through here, but it is pretty impressive to see in person. And damn, it comes with a full-sized, looks like 24 by 36 Frazetta poster of the cover. That is dope. That is getting matted and framed. Oh, The first album is the printed on orange. It's the second record that's printed on that nice dark green. Yeah, I like this, man. This is always worth the money. And this next one here is one that came a couple of months ago, actually, and got set aside into the wrong pile. And I didn't notice it till I was starting to put records away that I'd already talked about in pickup videos or answering threads and things like that. I remember listening to this CD many, many years ago, over 30 years ago at this point, because I think this is the 30th anniversary. But this is Rubbernecker from the Toadies. And a lot of people will probably be very, very familiar with the hit song Possum Kingdom that's on this record. But man, these guys are badass. And I'm really looking to try to find the other records too. The originals are they're just not going to happen at the prices that they are. But if they're going to re-release them in this way, I'm going to try to pick up, these whenever I can, whenever I see them. I think this was a limited edition. Yeah, I don't know if it was limited, but it is a color variant, so who knows? They print so many variants nowadays, it's hard to keep up. And last up, I thank you all for sticking around this long. Another one from that pile of older records that I had recently acquired is an OG, They Might Be Giants, Flood. What an incredible record from the two Johns. This one, oh man, you can obviously see that, my height of buying CDs was in the late 80s, early 90s from all the things that I keep showing every time I have a vinyl finds video. There's the undeniably great Birdhouse in Your Soul. One of my favorite songs on here is Your Racist Friend. There's also Particle Man and the self-titled song here near the end. This one is packed with awesome stuff. I want to thank everybody for hanging out. I really appreciate it. It's always great to hear comments and to watch everybody else's videos in the vinyl community. A lot of great challenges and vinyl threads going around that are always worth watching. I love being a part of this, and I hope that I can contribute to some of these pretty soon. I'll grab some records off of these shelves and try to answer a few of those things myself. Man, my camera's going I don't know what that shit is. Anyway, thanks for coming by. It was a pleasure to show everybody what I had picked up in this last month, and September's looking pretty good already, even though we're only a couple of days in. There's some pre-orders that should be rolling in a couple of weeks, and I have, I think, 2 or 3 eBay purchases coming in. It looks to be pretty good. It's been a great summer, and I love watching all of everybody's videos that are in the vinyl community. There's been some great challenges and vinyl threads that I'd love to be a part of if I can get my fingers into these shelves and dig out the proper records, if I can be torn away from all the summer chores and everything that we got to get done around here. But thank you very much, and I'll see you next time. Hello. Burp. Fuck. As I had just... Fucking hell. I only like a... and it's got this super... wow. Maryland... and as I am... Fuck me. And I remember listening, blah, 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 blah. August has been, community, the records have been